All right, let's talk about one of Python's biggest, most misunderstood, and honestly most frustrating concepts, the global interpreter lock. You've probably heard it called the GIL. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this thing and figure out exactly why it can make your super smart, multi-threaded code run, well, surprisingly slow.
Okay, let's just jump right into the deep end with the exact question that drives people crazy. You've got a beefy computer, right? Maybe 8 CPU cores. So you think, great, I'll use 8 threads to make my code 8 times faster. But then you run it. And it's actually slower than just using one single thread. How is that even possible? It feels like it breaks the laws of computing.
You're not alone in feeling this. This quote comes from a developer named Timothy. He was building this intense analysis engine for a chess app, a perfect job for multiple cores, you'd think. So he threw 8 threads at it, expecting this massive speed boost. But nope, it got slower. And his description is just perfect. It felt like his code just smashed into an invisible ceiling. It's a classic, frustrating story for so many Python devs. Well, that invisible ceiling, that frustrating barrier, it has a name. And the culprit is the GIL, which, as you see, stands for the Global Interpreter Lock. So today, we're going to put the GIL on the stand, get to know it, and understand exactly why it's there in the first place. So here's the textbook definition. The GIL is basically a lock that makes sure only one, and I mean one, thread can be executing Python code at any given time. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds completely insane. Doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of having threads? Just stick with me here. It'll make sense.
To really get this, we need a good analogy. So for a minute, let's forget about code and interpreters. I want you to imagine that Python is a very fancy, very popular talk show. It's got a great host, interesting guests, but it has one very, very strange rule. There's only one microphone on the entire stage.
Okay, let's break this down. On our talk show, the guests you've invited to speak are your threads. The stage they're all sitting on, that's the Python interpreter itself. It's where all the action happens. The act of actually talking into the mic, that's your code being executed. And that one single solitary microphone that everyone has to share, you guessed it, that's the GIL. No matter how many guests you cram onto that stage, only one can hold the mic and speak at a time.
So, the obvious question is, why? Why would any modern language design itself around this one mic policy? It sounds like a massive bug, a huge limitation. But believe it or not, it was a very deliberate choice. It's a feature, not a bug.
And the reason comes down to 2 words: memory safety. See, back when Python was being created, this lock was the simplest, most effective way to stop multiple threads from basically tripping over each other in memory, changing the same data at the same time, and just causing absolute chaos. It makes Python's memory management way, way simpler and safer. So it was a trade-off. Python gave up true parallel processing on multiple cores in exchange for simplicity and safety.
Okay, so this brings us to the most practical part of this whole discussion. Because even with the GIL, threads aren't useless in Python. Not at all. You just have to be really smart about when you use them. And it all boils down to one simple question. Is your task mostly waiting for something, or is it mostly working on something?
This right here is the key. On one side, you have I/O-bound tasks. Think waiting for a file to download or for a database to respond. For these, threads are fantastic. Why? Because in our talk show analogy, while one guest is waiting for a producer to hand them a glass of water, they politely passed a microphone to another guest. They're not hogging it. But on the other side, you have CPU-bound tasks, heavy-duty math, data crunching. Here, all the guests are desperate to talk at once. They're all trying to grab the one microphone, and they end up spending more time fighting over it than actually speaking. That fight is what we call overhead.
And this chart shows you exactly what that looks like in the real world. For a waiting task, an I/O task, look at that. You add more threads and you get a huge speed up. It's beautiful. But for a heavy thinking CPU task, just like Timothy's chess problem, adding more threads actually makes things worse. The program gets slower because of all that time wasted fighting for the GIL.
So, are we just stuck? If you have a really intense CPU-bound problem, does that mean you can't use Python to take advantage of all those awesome cores in your machine? No, of course not. We don't have to be stuck. We just have to change our way of thinking.
And this is where our little talk show analogy becomes even more powerful. The problem isn't that you have too many guests. The solution isn't to try and cram more people onto one stage. The solution is to build more stages. And that is the core idea behind multiprocessing in Python. This slide really lays it all out. Threading is what we've been talking about. One stage, one process, but many guests, all fighting for that one shared microphone, the GIL. Multiprocessing is different. It's like you're building brand new, completely separate talk show studios. Each one gets its own stage, its own memory, its own guest, and, crucially, its very own microphone. Each of these processes can run on a different CPU core, giving you true, honest-to-goodness parallelism. So, the big takeaway here is all about picking the right tool for the right job. So let's boil everything we've just talked about down into a simple, practical cheat sheet you can use every single day.
Here it is. It's this simple. If your code spends most of its time waiting for things like files or network responses, use threading. The guests are good at sharing the mic. If your code is doing heavy math, number crunching, pure computation, use multiprocessing. Give every worker their own stage and their own mic. And just as a bonus, if you're dealing with something like 10,000 network connections at once, there's another amazing tool called Asynco. Think of that as one superhumanly fast juggler on a single stage, managing thousands of tasks so efficiently it feels like magic.
Now, just a few quick expert-level notes. First, remember that the GIL is really a C Python thing. That's the standard version of Python most of us use. Other interpreters like Jython or IronPython, they don't have a GIL at all. Also, don't think this makes everything in the threading module useless. Tools like thread-safe queues are still incredibly valuable for passing information between threads, especially for those I/O tasks. The GIL just makes sure they access the queue one at a time, safely. Look, if you forget everything else we talked about today, just remember this one sentence. Use the right tool for the job. Threads are for waiting. Processes are for working. Truly understanding that single distinction is the secret to unlocking high-performance Python. So, the invisible ceiling isn't so invisible anymore, is it? You now know what it is, why it's there, and most importantly, how to get around it. You have the knowledge now to choose the right way to make your code run faster and really use the power of your computer. Which leaves us with one final thought. Now that you know how to break through this bottleneck, what's the next one you're going to find and solve?